So right now I'm in a school, I'm with my son, and I've been walking around and I wanted to check all the work that I've done in the past. So my business partners with this school and we've done all of their hallways, all of their classrooms. So while I have one of my guys in the principal's office painting a new accent wall, I figure that I can talk a little bit about uh, something different than tips and advice and things like that. Switch it up a little bit. And it comes from the heels of the last video I posted on tariffs. So in that video, if you go check it out, I define what it is, how it's implemented, and the constant changes right now. Because 2 days ago, there was something called Liberation Day. Essentially, that was supposed to be the day where there's like worldwide increase in tariffs to kind of balance it out. What you reciprocal tariffs is what they also called it. What you charge us, we'll charge you. And so that's the thing that was going on. But I also wanted to kind of challenge myself to see if I ever got tariffed or taxed or dutied going to another country. And so I actually did. So when I think about over a decade ago, here's what happened. One time I was bringing a phone to Jamaica on my trip because my friend used to live there. And as an entrepreneur, I hope to have this gear in my mind about, okay, if I'm already doing this, see if there's a way I can make extra money. Because let's say, for example, I'm in the moving business. So a part of doing moving, I'm already in someone's house, which is the most difficult part. So I always try to see, okay, do they need their floors or the carpets done, painting done? Because we do other stuff, junk removal, etc. So since I'm already there, how can I add on services, make more money? That was the thought process. Same thing with the trip to Jamaica. So let's just say, for the purpose of my example, I purchased like 10 cell phones online at walmart.com. And they were Samsung phones because back then Samsung was very popular. And it was, let's just say 50 a piece. So let's say I spent 500 phones that I got online. So I figure, okay, cool. And so like I said, one part of me always wants to make extra money. Another part is, how do I minimize a potential loss? And that's what I want to do. How do I do that? So what I mean by that is, I'll buy these phones. Whatever I sell is cool. Whatever I don't, I can always return it. I won't lose money. So it should be a win across the board. So I go down there with the phones, and even before I left, I tried to separate the paperwork that came in the box with the chargers and different things like that. I try to kind of like separate them so that when I get there, it wouldn't look like, oh, this guy's coming with brand new phones that he's trying to sell. Not trying to make it look super hot and obvious. Anyway, so I get there, I pass baggage claims because I don't check bags. And usually customs, they have a machine scanner so you could put your bags in to just make sure that you don't have anything that you're not supposed to. Anyway, I think my bag went through and they told me to come here so they can personally go in and check. And so they opened it and saw all of these phones. And so they asked me, what are you doing with these? Like, what's the purpose? I said, well, I do film, and I'm trying to record myself with all of these phones. Now, they could believe if it was 2 or 3, but 10, they weren't buying it. And so I said, I felt that they weren't buying it. So I said, I'm not only gonna use them here, but I'm gonna use them in other countries after I leave Jamaica. And here it is, I have my passport full of stamps. I thought that would substantiate what I was saying. That didn't work at all. So their follow-up was, where's the receipt? Now I got it online, so I didn't have a physical receipt anyway. And so they said, okay, where you got it from? So they had a computer right there. They went online, put all the model numbers in, tallied up everything, and they told me I have to pay, I forget if it was between $275 and $300. I believe I was able to talk them down a little bit, but it was still significant, right? Because at that point, I could no longer return the phones because I got taxed on each one. And then also, it just killed my profit margin. So I had a choice. I could have just left on the plane that I came in on. That was the only option to get out of that situation. But I'm like, damn, I came all the way here. Let me stick with it. But if I were to do it again, I would have just left. Anyway, I wind up selling most of the phones to this guy who owned a store. He used to live in America for like over 2 decades and decided to go back home to retire. So he had this store with pretty much everything inside. And he pretty much purchased the phones off of me. So I don't think he did all of them, but the majority. So I had to deal with the rest. So yeah, that's what it was. And it's pretty bad. And it's around the same time that I learned that if Jamaicans want to send cars from here to Jamaica, it's very, very pricey because they make it so high to discourage you from even doing it. So you're better off buying cars there. That's how bad they do it. So this tariff thing is very, very serious. And even if you think of this, if you are familiar with Latin America, with the Caribbean, you know that electronics a lot of time is more than they are here. Now, even though the people don't make the same amount that we do here, the electronics are more. And certain products, like when you go to the grocery store, it's more there than it is over here. And that has to do with everything I just said. Tariffs, you know, for the companies bringing it in. The owner has to make money. It's just a whole process before the product is able to get to the country. Now you might say, hey, but what about us? We don't make everything here. But the thing is, when you have a large buying market like we do, we kind of dictate pricing. A big country like us, we dictate pricing. It's similar to if someone wants to sell their product in Walmart or Target, they have the leverage to put your items at whatever price they want to. And they'll buy it off of you at a certain price point. So what you would sell to another company compared to them is very different. So same concept. So that was my experience. I've never done it post that situation. And it was a learning lesson for sure. And yeah, so I thought of it and it was funny and that was it. So I'll catch you guys on the next story time. Peace.